In the suburbs of Phoenix, Arizona, a housewife named Connie gets arrested at her home during the night. She doesn't resist. As she's being taken away, she recalls the events that led to this moment, starting months earlier. Connie, once a celebrated Olympic race walker with 3 gold medals, now lives a life far from fame and wealth. She shares her home with her husband Rick, who works as an IRS auditor. Their relationship is strained, especially after their struggles with infertility. They spend a lot on treatments to conceive, but tragically, Connie miscarried. Following this, Rick chose to take a job that required him to travel 3 weeks each month. When Rick is home, he's not kind to Connie. He blames her for being unemployed, for wasting money on fertility treatments, and for her intense interest in coupon collecting. Connie's coupon obsession is real. She hoards them, buys in bulk, and stores everything in the nursery, trying to forget their loss. Rick's frequent absences allow Connie to bond with her neighbor Jojo, who runs a YouTube channel about saving money and shares Connie's passion for coupons. Jojo, living with her mother Josie, struggles to find work after having her identity stolen. She spends her time flirting with Earl, the mailman, and unsuccessfully selling makeup door to door. When Connie shops, she uses loads of coupons, causing delays at checkout but reducing her bills significantly. She believes in the saying, "Watch the pennies, and the dollars will take care of themselves." One day, while storing groceries, she's upset by the sight of the baby-themed wallpaper and eats a lot of cereal to cope. The cereal is stale, and in a moment of frustration, she sends an angry email to the company. A few days later, Connie gets a free cereal coupon in the mail with an apology from the company. She proudly goes to the supermarket to redeem it, but the cashier Greg tells her it's standard practice for companies to send free coupons to complaining customers. Connie comes up with a plan to write many letters to various companies, pretending there's something wrong with their products. This strategy brings her a large collection of free product coupons. She shows them to Jojo, who is amazed and even offers to buy some, realizing it's a cheaper option. This gives Connie the idea to sell these free items for a full profit, turning it into a business venture. During an online search, Connie learns that the coupons are printed in Mexico, close to where she lives. She suggests to Jojo that they could steal a large number of coupons to sell. Jojo, overwhelmed by her financial troubles, hesitantly agrees to join. Meanwhile, in Nevada, a loss prevention officer named Ken is at work in a supermarket. He spots a fake coupon and, despite a longtime customer's plea, refuses to accept it, sticking strictly to the rules. Ken's blunt manner leads to an unpleasant exchange with the customer. Later, on a plane trip back to his home in Utah, Ken encounters a mother asking him to switch seats with her daughter. He coldly refuses, citing it as a life lesson for the child. Back at his solitary apartment, Ken vents his frustrations by shouting at his television. In Mexico, Connie and Jojo arrive at the coupon factory and observe the workers leaving. They target Alejandro and Rosa, a couple who seem approachable despite breaking some minor rules. The women follow them in their car, causing Alejandro and Rosa to fear a robbery. However, once they explain their intention, the couple invites them over. Alejandro and Rosa, struggling with low wages and Rosa's pregnancy, find the offer from Connie and Jojo appealing. The plan is for the couple to steal coupons, which Connie and Jojo will then sell in the United States and share the profits with them. Alejandro is hesitant about the plan, but Rosa persuades him, thinking of their future child's well-being. The factory where they work is split into 2 sections, printing, where Alejandro is employed, and redemption, Rosa's area. These sections are generally unaware of each other's operations. Alejandro's job involves printing coupons, and often there are extra copies which are meant to be destroyed. He plans to secretly send these extra coupons to Connie and Jojo via the factory's distribution trucks across the USA. Since they're just boxes of coupons, they shouldn't raise any suspicions at the border. Soon, Connie and Jojo receive their first shipment of coupons. They set up a simple website to sell them and promote it through Connie's YouTube channel. The business takes off quickly, bringing in a significant income. However, supermarkets begin to notice the impact. Ken, a loss prevention officer, gets inundated with complaints from store managers about their losses. He launches a detailed investigation and eventually traces a credit card used for coupon purchases. After 11 days of investigation, Ken visits the housewife linked to the credit card and discovers the website selling the coupons, promoted by a black woman on YouTube. He notices the website's slogan, "If you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves." Meanwhile, Connie and JoJo face a problem. Their PayPal account is frozen due to the rapid accumulation of funds. To unlock it, they must prove they're running a legitimate business, but they're unsure how to do this. In desperation, they reach out to Tina, a renowned hacker on the dark web. Tina criticizes them for making their operation too public and traceable. She helps them by deleting JoJo's videos and advises them to establish a front for their business to launder their money. They need to get fake IDs, open new bank accounts, and find a discreet location to operate from. Tina also advises them to wait 6 months before spending any of the money, allowing time for any links to their real identities to fade away. After agreeing to give Tina a 10% cut for her assistance, they receive a special encrypted USB stick from her to securely store their crucial files. Tina's swift actions leave no digital traces for Ken to follow. Frustrated, Ken turns to the FBI for help. However, the FBI, finding the coupon issue trivial, assigns it to their least busy employee, Albert. With no other tasks at hand, Albert takes on the case. Using JoJo's Cosmetics brand as a cover and armed with Tina's fabricated IDs, Connie and JoJo manage to expand their coupon scheme into a thriving venture once again. Meanwhile, Ken persistently contacts the FBI for updates. 6 months later, the pair is eager to use their earnings, but recall Tina's warning about the money being dirty. Connie, inspired by a story from her husband Rick about a client, decides to purchase high-value items to resell later, making the proceeds appear legitimate. They convince banks to give them cash under the pretense of hiring for their cosmetics business and embark on an extravagant shopping spree, buying luxury cars, boats, a private plane, and even firearms. Following this, they plan a trip to Las Vegas, where JoJo aims to pay off her mother's mortgage, and Connie considers another attempt at fertility treatment. Back with Ken, he finally gets an update from the FBI. Albert informs him that online traces have been expertly erased, but since the coupons are distributed through regular mail, there's a new lead. Soon after, Ken meets Simon, a postal inspector, who takes on the case. They decide to order coupons from the website to analyze the system. When the envelope arrives, Simon quickly deduces from the online stamp that although it's labeled from Kansas, it actually originated from Arizona. Planning a trip to Phoenix, Simon invites Ken to join him, given his familiarity with the local supermarkets. Meanwhile, Connie schedules an appointment at the fertility clinic and brings JoJo along for support, keeping this decision hidden from Rick. The doctor tells Connie that this is her final chance for fertility treatment, leading her to choose a donor's sperm over her husband's. That evening, an upset Tina contacts them to question their recent spending. Tina is frustrated, explaining they misunderstood her advice. By using JoJo's Cosmetics brand, they had already laundered the money. Now, they need to quickly sell their extravagant purchases and deposit the proceeds back into the bank in small daily amounts. When Rick returns from his business trip, he notices the new television Connie bought. She convinces him she's landed a sales job and has stopped her coupon collecting, which makes Rick very happy. He even refers to her as a new wife, reinforcing Connie's decision to use a donor for her treatment. Meanwhile, Ken and Simon are busy questioning local cashiers about any customers overly fond of coupons. They speak with Greg, who doesn't know Connie's name but describes her and mentions her "watch the pennies" motto, a phrase Ken recalls from the coupon website. The next day, they visit the local post office inquiring about a blonde woman linked to coupons. No one remembers Connie, but Earl catches their attention due to his interest in JoJo's YouTube channel. Connie and JoJo, struggling to sell their lavish purchases on eBay, stumble upon 2 men from a gun club while at a cafe. They decide to visit the club, offering to sell all their firearms. JoJo impresses with her sales pitch, and after some negotiation, they agree on a discounted price for a bulk purchase. Back with Ken and Simon, they interrogate Earl, who refuses to disclose any information. Once released, Earl discreetly leaves a note for Jojo, disguised as regular mail, which Josie mistakenly collects without realizing its significance. Unbeknownst to Earl, Ken and Simon have followed him and decide to set up surveillance outside the house, prepared to wait as long as necessary. As night sets in, Jojo returns home and celebrates her earlier successful deal with a dance in her driveway. Ken and Simon, observing from afar, recognize her as the woman from the YouTube video. The following morning, Jojo, caught up in an argument with her mother Josie, neglects to check the mail and heads to their secret storage location. Ken and Simon tail her, spotting Connie too and identifying her as the blonde woman Greg had described. With more information at hand, Simon and his team quickly ascertain Connie's and Jojo's real identities, confirmed by Greg upon seeing their pictures. That night, Jojo discovers Earl's warning note to leave town, but it's too late. Simon and his team arrest Connie, Jojo, and Josie after raiding their homes and the stash house. The news of the arrest shocks Earl as he sees Jojo on TV. During interrogation, Rick and Josie claim ignorance and agree to cooperate. Jojo tries to feign innocence, but her videos found on her computer undermine her defense. Connie, however, admits her involvement, shocked at the potential 40-year sentence. To lighten Jojo's sentence, Connie takes full responsibility. Jojo, released on bail by Earl, who she mistakenly thinks is her mother, finds Earl waiting for her with flowers. Connie isn't as fortunate. Rick visits only to berate her and refuses to post bail. Connie, in turn, asks for a divorce. The investigation leads to Alejandro and Rosa, but they've vanished, and the Mexican authorities show no interest in pursuing them. Connie's decision to hire a costly lawyer pays off. At the trial, her lawyer argues that Connie and Jojo exploited a legal loophole, similar to corporate practices. This argument sways the judge, resulting in a lenient sentence, 10 days in jail and a year's probation for Jojo, and 11 months with parole possibility for Connie. Simon and Ken, dissatisfied with the outcome, seek explanations from the state attorney. The attorney reveals the leniency was partly due to the involved brands wanting to avoid negative publicity, considering the scams cost insignificant compared to their vast wealth. With the case closed, Simon commends Ken for his efforts but suggests he soften his demeanor. Life moves on. Ken becomes kinder, even tolerating customers with counterfeit coupons, and ventures into online dating. Connie, now divorced, sees success with her fertility treatment and spends her jail time pregnant. The authorities confiscate most of the scam's profits but overlook the cash hidden in nursery boxes, which Jojo later retrieves. Jojo and Earl relocate to Montenegro, a non-extradition country, planning a new scam under a different cosmetics brand, eagerly awaiting Connie's release to join forces once more.